Welcome to Cozy Room Podcast. My mommy Shan.
Hey!
My sister Ari.
Say hi, Ari.
Hey. And I'm Anya.
Let's go! Hey, this is Shan, mom of the girls. Thank you for checking in. If this is your first time at Cozy Room Podcast, welcome. It's a very random but frequently posted show. Enjoy what you can when you can. It's for new parents. Y'all are very welcome. It's for second, third, or more time around parents too. And I did not forget those of you who aren't quite there yet, haven't had your first kid, but you're thinking about it and you're just curious on what it takes to go ahead and survive the kids that you may make. Cool. Since we're all here, let's get into today's episode. All right, so you're down to delivery time or labor time, or your doctor tells you, you know what, we're going to go ahead and take this baby. What are your choices once you get to the hospital? That is what I'm going to focus on for today's episode. So I gave about 20 choices that moms have at the hospital around labor. All right, so I'm going to go 20 and down. The first choice that you have is number 20 would be fetal monitoring the whole time or when needed. If you want to monitor your child and yourself the whole time, that is a choice you have, okay? Number 19, the OBGYN or your midwife, your doula. You have a choice if that's who you want to help you throughout your labor or you want your doctor. 18, your own birth gown. You do not have to put on the gown that they have, but they do want to have access to your back, just in case you need an epidural, or they want to have access to your chest easily, and they want your bottom covered, but they still want to have access to check you to see when you're dilating, all right? So if you have a gown that you like, something that you're comfortable in, that gives them access to that throughout the whole time, perfect. You can use it. 17, visitor specifics. When I was going into labor the first time and the second time, I did all of my visitor specifics online, and I filled out the paperwork and I gave it to them. So who I wanted in there was already known. My mom was there, Arya's dad was there, and then my daughter Anya, she was there too. So they were all there the whole time. After I had her, they came back second day, they were there. The third day, they were there. Number 16, pain meds being offered. You do not have to take those pain meds if you do not want them, okay? I'm somebody who does not enjoy pain. I'm not about to work through. I'm not doing none of that. Give me the drugs. I am a drug woman. I like drugs that make me feel good in regards to pain, all right? Number 15, say no to cervical checks or limit it. If your doctor keeps going in your cervix and you haven't felt any different and they're making you uncomfortable, you have a right to say no to how many cervical checks they're doing. What made my second labor so frustrating is the amount of times that my cervix was being checked, and it was very invasive. There's a lot of pressure down there. I'm feeling a lot of pain, and they just kept checking me. My original doctor was a man, but he could not do it for the delivery, so he had a woman OBGYN, which I had one appointment with before. She wasn't a complete stranger to me, but the reason why I like men doctors is because men doctors take your word for it on what you say the first time. If you're in pain, they take your word for it and they go ahead and get to the next thing that's going to help you. Women doctors is kind of like, they like to combat you on what you're feeling. Like, you couldn't be, feeling this much pain, or it couldn't be this bad. So I prefer men doctors. I prefer recommend OBGYNs. I don't care. That's just my preference. Each check can risk infections when your cervical is being checked. So if you want to limit it, you can limit it. Number 14, IVS restricts movement and can decline. Okay, you can decline. Saline locks, the catheter in your vein. What is this? Heparin locks, same thing. Catheter in your vein. If you want to not have that or limit that or whatever for your liking, that's a choice you have. 13, Pitocin. You have a choice if you want that or not. Do you want it? It moves labor forward. How much of it do you want? But it does increase strong and longer contractions, okay? I had it because both of my kids were very comfortable inside me and they weren't doing anything. I wasn't dilating naturally. They weren't doing anything. Anya was 41 weeks when I had her. Ari was at the 40 mark, and I was like, I'm not doing what I did the first time, so go ahead and take her out. I had both of them vaginally, but I did have Pitocin and that, pushing it. And your contractions are going to be closer together if you get it. Number 12, wanting your water to be to break on its own, or do you want them to break it? That's a choice you have, okay? If that's something you want to do, go ahead and do that. Number 11, if you do not like the nurse, ask for a different nurse. You have that choice, okay? I saw a video of a couple in the hospital, and because they asked for a different nurse, they were told to leave, that they were being rude, and they called all these police officers to escort them out the hospital. It was kind of crazy. But you have the choice to ask for a different nurse if the nurses are not listening to you. For me, my first time in labor, all the nurses are really nice and they listen to me. For the second time, it was all women nurses, and it was basically making me feel like I was making up the fact that I was feeling all the pain that I was feeling. And I did not like it. And they basically made me finish the whole IV before they could give me my epidural, which pissed me off because the shit was just like dripping so slow. I'm just like, what the hell? But I made it. Number 10, push when you feel like your body wants to push. Do not hold back the fact that your body naturally wants to push, because you don't know what you could be stopping and you don't know what you could be preventing. Unless the doctor is right there and says, do not push because your child's shoulder is a certain way or your child is turned the wrong way. Push when you naturally feel like you want to push. Number 9, spend as much time as you can with your baby. Do you know now they actually charge you an extra fee on your labor bill for skin-to-skin contact with your baby? When I tell you, the society makes money off of the things that you should be allowed to do naturally. But that's a whole nother conversation. Number 8, eye drops given to your baby. You do have a choice with that. If you do not want eye drops given to your baby, let them know, okay? Number 7, delayed cord clamping. That does have a lot of good pros with cord clamping. I will be doing an episode about delayed cord clamping for babies. If that's something you want to do, again, I would put it in your labor paperwork so they'll know ahead of time. But if they did not know ahead of time and you want to do it, let your doctor know and let the nurses know. Number 6, vitamin K injection given either through an injection or orally to your baby. You can say no to it if you want to. That's your choice. Number 5, wait on the Hep B vaccine or get it at the hospital. That's another choice that they give you. They did give me that choice with Anya, and they did give me that choice with Arya. Circumcision, if you have a boy or not. That is a choice that you have. Now, I've gotten into a back and forth on Twitter with people who say, oh, getting your child circumcised as a baby is evil. They should have that right to choose. That'll affect them for the rest of their lives. Cool, I understand that. As a parent, when you are a parent, there are certain decisions that you have to make that will affect your child for the rest of their lives. And for me, if I had a son, I would prefer and I would definitely get him circumcised, because that is what I would want to do with my child. If you are a mother and if you are a father, you have that choice. If you do not want to get your child circumcised, you don't have to get your child circumcised. It doesn't matter if it's religious reasons. It doesn't matter if it's not religious reasons. That is your choice. Don't ever make society or anybody else, friends, family, or whatever, make you feel bad about not getting your child circumcised or getting your child circumcised. That is your choice. Number 3, you can keep your placenta and research your state laws on that and how that works, okay? Number 2, after you give birth, order food that you like and you want. That is your choice. That is your right. You do not have to eat that hospital food. But on the other hand, when I was in West Palm Beach at St. Mary's, when I tell you, their food was delicious. So I was eating up all their food. And I remember my nurse, whatever I wanted around the clock, she was bringing it to me. It doesn't matter what hour it was, she was bringing it to me. Extra sandwiches or extra juices, she was bringing it to me. I love her. Number 1, name your baby what you want. Some people take all 3 days after their baby is born to name their baby. Some people know way before they ever were pregnant that what they wanted to name their baby. I, like many people, had a list of names that I wanted to name my baby before I was ever pregnant. And then when I became pregnant, all those names are out the window. And I came up with a brand new name. With Aria, me and her dad went back and forth for a long time trying to choose her name, because he wanted her name to start with a J, since his daughter's name started with a J, like his name started with a J, but really his first name starts with a P. But I didn't like any of the J names he was giving me, so I was like, no. Her name is going to start with an A, and it's going to be something short and sweet like her sister's. So I was like, it's either going to be Ari or Aria. And he was like, I don't want Ari. Aria's cool. Sir, what do we call her now? Ari. And then her middle name, I let him choose her middle name, and she has his last name. So choose your baby's name, okay? That's between you and the father of what your baby's name is going to be. Anya has 4 names. Her first name was chosen by me. Her second name was chosen by 3 of my best friends. And her next middle name was chosen by her dad. And her last name is my mother's last name and my last name. So we are the 3 Marshalls in the family, and Aria is named after her dad. So those are the choices that you mommies have at the hospital. Please read the hospital labor do's and don'ts, and know your state laws on what you can and can't keep after labor, and what you can and can't do in the hospital. Also, who you can have, when you can have visitors, what you would want to bring. And I hope that you have a very safe and healthy labor, and your baby is born healthy and there's no issues or emergencies that occur. Labor is one of those things where once you experience it, it's going to be a whole nother level, okay? You're going to feel like your woman power has upped 10,000, okay? It's one of those experiences that people can't tell you about. You just have to be in it. It's very beautiful. It is very life-changing. And I think a man and a woman needs to experience it. If your child is mature enough, yes, you can have them in the room. Anya was in the room. Anya was the first person to hold Ari. I was the second person to hold Ari. My mom was the third person, and her dad was the 4th person. And If you're one of those people that want to keep your baby with you at all times, you can. If you want to send one of your family members with your baby, with the nurses when they go to do testing or whatever, you can. I preferably, when I had Anya, I had all her testing done in the room with me. And if I was sleeping, my mom was right there, because when my mom had me, I was born in 87, and that was when there was a lot of like babies being stolen out the hospital at that time. And my mom had 4 boys before me, and she was counting on her girl. And when she had her girl, she was not letting her girl out that hospital room. So my mom kept an eye on me during that time. And when it comes to my kids and my babies, even though now they put a whole probation lock around your kid's ankle. So when you check out of the hospital, somebody has to come unlock that thing so you can take that child out the hospital. Because if you take that child out the hospital and that little beeper thing around their wrist is still on, there's going to be a whole lot of policemen and security looking for you, because they're basically tracking your baby so your baby can't be stolen. But those are my choices for moms at the hospital. Thank you for listening to Cozy Room.